we talk about that awesome hockey game last night?
I think we can talk about last night's awesome hockey game.
Because it really was. It was a hell of a game. Double overtime, lead into double overtime, back and forth. I mean, it was ridiculous to watch.
It really was. I mean,
Post here, missed shot there, breakaway here. I mean, it was just nonstop action on both ends of the ice. Literally, they would go down to this end, and immediately the puck would get turned over. Next thing you know, they're racing on the other end. You know, Aginla was missing shots. Crosby, Malkin had a couple opportunities. I mean, it was just crazy. Craziness.
Got to take your hat off to both goaltenders, Tuukka Rask and Tomas Vokoun. Both of them over 45 saves in the game. Both of them lights out. Only one goal through regulation. Then, of course, Vokoun giving up the game winner. But both of them played extraordinarily good last night.
Yeah, Rask had 53 saves.
There you go. I knew it was both over 45.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was just so many shots.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you got to love the fact that Vokoun, on his first shot face, gives up a goal. And then is able to go the rest of the game without giving up a goal. And then, of course, a stupid turnover by Pittsburgh, a hell of a pass and a hell of a deflection by Boston. And there goes the game winner by Vokoun. And I felt bad for the guy because he played a good game. And we wondered whether or not the Penguins should have started him or played with him. And they made the decision of let's go with the guy that got us here. And I ain't mad at him for it. And yet they end up losing anyway, and that's rough, man. That's really rough. I feel for the Penguins, I do, but Boston
4-1 this season in the playoffs in overtime. Tough to beat. I mean, they are really putting it to the Penguins and playing great defense.
That's a hell of a mark, 4-1 too.
Well, I got to be honest. I mean, I really went into last night's game thinking that the Penguins had a chance to take it. And, I mean, they were down 2-0 going back to Boston. But, I heard a stat a little while ago that the last team in the NHL to come back from a 2-0 deficit when you go into the to the other team's stadium for Game 3 was the Penguins in '91 over the Boston Bruins. So I really thought there was a chance Lightning was going to strike twice, especially when you have such a star-studded roster like what the Penguins have. But you got to give it up to guys like Patrice Bergeron for coming through, and that whole defense just for being able to really stymie the Stars over, last night and definitely the first two games as well.
And I think that's a great way to say it, stymie the Stars. I mean, you're talking Crosby is pointless. No assists or goals in this series. Who else? Like 2 or 3 of their major names are without any points in this entire series.
Mm.
And to say something like that is sort of shocking, I guess you'd say, because I wouldn't have ever guessed that would have happened.
No.
I mean, these are guys. This is an offense and a team that is just loaded with talent, and for these guys not to even be putting up a point. I believe Malkin hasn't scored a point.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
I know Malkin and Crosby have not even scored a single point in this series yet. Assist or goal, anything.
You got to give your hat off to them because they are giving everything they have on the ice. I mean, I was saying before the show, Sidney Crosby with about, I'd say a minute before the final goal score, got his helmet knocked off. Didn't even make an attempt to go after the helmet. He just kept playing for the next, minute before they called the whistle on something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, these guys are trying their asses off, for lack of a better word, but Boston's just been better, led by Patrice Bergeron, who now has 10 points in the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing real well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was a game last night where Pittsburgh had their opportunities to get the win and get themselves back in the series, and now instead, you gotta. I mean, what do they got? Like a 3% chance, or some nonsense like that to actually
If that.
make it.
I mean, listen, it's over. Stick a fork in them. They're done. I mean, they're not coming back, and especially with the way Pittsburgh's playing, I don't see this Pittsburgh team just collapsing.
Listen, I mean, they would have to, compared to the way they
Boston.
played.
I'm sorry, I said Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I meant Boston.
Compared to the way they played the first 3 games, Penguins would need to seriously step on the gas to have a chance at it. I mean, in the NHL, teams have come back from 3-0 deficits. We talked about it before. I think one team in the playoffs, I can't remember who it was down 3-0 and forced the Game 7 out of it so far this season, right?
Yeah. You had who did it?
It was within the last couple. Was it the Kings? No, or the Red Wings? Or the Blackhawks?
No, it was either the Kings or the Red Wings.
Naming
I
all
can't
the
remember
teams
off the top of my head, but
Right.
yeah.
But it's happened. And listen, realistically, we all know Pittsburgh has the talent to force a Game 7 and go on a big run if they want to. The question is, are they going to be able to outperform Boston in the next game in Boston? So,
You know what? And that's Boston's defense is serious, man.
Mm-hmm.
They really are, and I think you're looking at a scenario where this really could just go.
I think the series is over. I'll be honest.
I
Really do.
I'm going to give the Penguins the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say they don't get swept. I'm going to say they at least force a Game 5. But I still
They
say,
might get one, but listen, the series is over. There's no way they're getting all 4.
Devil's advocate, though, you look at the NHL. Can you think of a team more capable of doing it than the Penguins, though, given their talent base?
I can't even
talent.
look at it like that because I've watched their talent base the last 3 games, and they just can't get it done with the talent they have.
So-
Boston's defense to me is too good.
Mm-hmm.
I really and Tuukka Rask is playing out of his mind. He's giving you.
We always talk about the hot goaltender, and he's the hot goaltender right now.
Yeah, he's the
stopping
goaltender.
everything they're throwing at him.
Definitely that.
Out
Yeah,
of
I'm not gonna
53,
agree.
53 saves yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Out of the 4 remaining goaltenders, there's no question Tuukka Rask is playing the best goaltending. There's no question.
No, listen,
about it.
I'm
I
not
mean, the guy's
disputing
a
any
beast,
of that.
man.
I'm just saying, based on pure talent, this is a team a week ago. I remember being on the opposite side saying, I think the Bruins would be able to force a Game 7, and everybody else was like, the Penguins would probably win this. I know they've played terrible the first 3
Yeah.
games. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're still talent-wise that team we were talking
Yeah,
about
but
last week.
their
They
offense
gotta
is
show
going
it.
out
And
the
I,
window.
and
Which
you know,
I
what?
agree.
I will agree with what you said. The simple
Yeah,
fact they
that's all
do
I'm
have the talent to come back, but I think Boston's D is
good
just
right
too
now.
good. I mean,
No, I agree with that completely.
And
I'm
you,
just
like
saying.
we've talked about, it's about hot goaltending in the playoffs. And right now, Tuukka Rask is hot, and Volkun, even though he played well last night, isn't necessarily the hot goaltender right now.
No, not anymore. He's
I-
had
you know-
good moments this postseason, though. But you're right. Rask is playing infinitely better.
yes,
Rask is playing the best goaltending out of any goaltender left in the.
Oh yeah,
Playoffs.
he's definitely the hottest guy left.
And it's a true credit to the Bruins because keep in mind, a year ago, this guy was the backup to Tim Thomas. He was known as the best backup goaltender for at least 2 or 3 seasons. Tim Thomas retires, and they stick this guy in, and all he's done has been one of the best goaltenders in the league all season.
Played great.
Yep.
I'm shocked by it. I really am. Bottom line, I actually even was rooting for Pittsburgh yesterday just for the fact that I want a series. I don't want, a sweep. But, I'm shocked. I really am. I did not picture this series starting off the way it started. Since we're talking hockey, we might as well get this in the books as well. You got Game 4 tonight, Chicago Blackhawks versus the LA Kings. Another game in Los Angeles. Kings have won 15 straight at home. If you include Game 3 of this series, the Kings are outscoring opponents 20-9. I mentioned this yesterday on the show. But yet they're 8-0 at home, outscoring opponents 20-9. But they're 1-7 on the road, getting outscored 18-11. I think the streak continues. I know Eric believes correct that the streak comes to an end tonight. So what do you think, Mike? You gonna go against the streak or you gonna go with the streak?
Normally, I'm a guy who goes with it, but this time I'm
I
going
mean,
with it.
listen, taking nothing away from the Kings, I've just believed since the beginning that the Blackhawks are the better team. I mean, the Kings are the defending champions. We all know Quick is a great goaltender. They're playing, and also Blackhawks will be playing without Duncan Keith, and I saw that shot, and I heard Brendan Shanahan, his explanation for the suspension. So, I mean, that's going to loom large, and that's going to be tough for Chicago to overcome.
Well, yeah.
But
Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, talent-wise, I still think Patrick Kane is one of the best centers in the league. I like that whole team, so I'm gonna go with Eric on this one. I think they wind up taking it tonight.
Yeah.
The streak ends.
Yeah, I mean, they gave Keith a suspension because he's a multi-time offender or whatever. I mean, he gave the guy 20 stitches the guy needed.
Mm-hmm. And listen, like Shanahan said, he may not have intended to do exactly that, but he definitely intended to hit him with the stick in some way.
Yeah, I mean, 20 stitches, cracked 3 of the guy's teeth. Jeff Carter, if anybody's wondering who got hit. But the problem is Keith is actually averaging 25 minutes a game, which is 4 minutes more than any other player on his team. He has 10 points so far through the playoffs, which is only 2 less points than every other defenseman on Chicago combined. So he's a very important factor to what Chicago likes to do. Me personally, I think the Kings keep it going. I do think the Blackhawks win the series, but I do think the Kings keep it going tonight. I like them at home. I do. But I think you see Chicago win. I wouldn't be surprised if the series goes 7 and the Kings just can't win in Chicago, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I'll say this. The guy I think really needs to step up to be able to help overcome for Duncan Keith, I'm going to go with Brent Seabrook. I mean, he scored a game-winning goal at least once in the last couple weeks. We know about him. He's a great player. He's got to have a big night to help Blackhawks out tonight. They got to shut Carter down because I think he hit one of the game-winning goals in that game right after the Stitches thing.
Yeah.
So they got to shut the Kings down.
Well, I mean, personally, as just a fan of wanting a good series since the Devils are no longer in it, I really hope the Kings win just to extend the series, make it a little more entertaining, a little more fun. That's the most disappointing part of the Boston-Pittsburgh series. Was really hoping for 6-7 games. I like the longer these series go. It's more fun for me. But I don't think I'm with you guys. I don't think the Pittsburgh-Boston series lasts much longer. But I do think Chicago-LA ends 2-2 after tonight's game.